All right, let's bring in someone who does player evaluation for a living. Todd McShay joins us now. All right, here's my question. Could LeBron star in the NFL?
Well, first we have to find out what position he would play, and then we can diagnose whether he could star in the NFL. I'll tell you one thing. It's not at quarterback. Defensive end, well, I don't know. I don't like wilting here in the charge call, just falling down the turf, and a lot of complaining. So many complaints, BK. He's not a defensive player, although, look at this as a free safety.
Yes.
I mean, ball hawking to the max. But I still think offensive side of the ball. Let's start thinking about maybe H-back, chasing the ball down, hustling down the field, covering some kicks possibly, blocking in the open field, don't mind that. And then we got our hands on some tape from high school. Look at the big wingspan, 6'8", 240 pounds, going up, catching the ball over his shoulder. I'm telling you, maybe LeBron has a chance of playing some wide receiver H-back in the NFL, although I do know this. There are guaranteed contracts in the NBA, and he's got a pretty good career. Not the same thing in the NFL. You might want to stick with what he's doing.
Doesn't make sense from a business perspective. No. And yet I think, and I believe most athletic talent is not fungible. And yet my feeling is 6'8", 260. He's the fastest guy on the floor. I think he could do this. Seriously. Do you think he could do this?
I think it would be a real stretch, but I know this. If he said he legitimately wanted to do it, there would be a lot of GMs lining up trying to figure out where to play him and working him out and seeing if there was a realistic possibility. I do think the physical nature of the game flipping over to the NFL at this point in his life would be very difficult to transition.
You'd have him in the first round. That's Todd McShay. Thanks, Todd.
You got it, man.
For more, let's bring in Herm Edwards and Tim Legler. All right, Herm, you've played the game. You've coached the game. How good of a football player could LeBron be?
Well, he was a pretty good football player in high school, obviously, and he has the traits. You're talking about a big athletic guy, can run, has tremendous hand-eye coordination, can jump, can do all those things. But the question I'm asking, why? Because in our league, if you're going to play, you probably play tight end, and that'd be okay, but you can't be the star. The star in the National Football League is the quarterback. LeBron, you cannot play quarterback. You'd have to play tight end. You cannot be the star. Right now, you're the biggest star in the NBA. Do what you do. Continue to play basketball, son. Leave that football alone.
Tony Gonzalez, big star, but it's not the same. I understand what you're saying.
Not the same.
Not the same.
I mean, you're the tight end because you don't play with the ball. In our league, you have to play with the ball, kind of like in the NBA. The guys that play with the ball, they're pretty good.
They're the stars.
What do you think, man?
I think if he had about 3 or 4 years to dedicate nothing else but to try to become an NFL player, listen, he is one of the greatest physical specimens, not just in the NBA, on earth. On earth, okay? So you can't put...
That's the whole earth. That's big.
You can't put anything past him. But I'll say this. When you start talking about positions, I'm seeing him as a tight end. I understand what you're saying. 6'8", can run like a deer, get out in space, and get up in the air. But run blocking could be a problem because they're strong, and then there's NFL defensive linemen strong. That's a different level than LeBron has ever seen. So he might have a problem with that. But I see where he's coming from. Listen, Michael Jordan was a great athlete. He decided to try baseball later in his career. We know that didn't turn out that great.
And the one that really, when you think about all these guys, Michael Jordan went to play baseball. The one that did it pretty good, don't lose sight of this, Deion Sanders.
Yeah, Bo Jackson, too.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. Yeah. Not as big, but played skill positions. And could he do it? Yeah, he has tremendous will. There's no doubt about it. Don't do it. The NBA needs you.
All right.
Got enough football players.
Hoops guy says LeBron, pretty good. NFL guy says LeBron, you could do it. Let's bring in another expert from another sport. Barry Melrose. Barry, could LeBron play hockey?
Well, you guys are all in gray areas. He might be able to play. He might be okay. He might be able to do this. I actually brought examples. I have an example of a basketball star, a guy who was a great basketball player, one of the best shot blockers in the history of our sport, and he actually tried hockey, and that's Manute Bol. Manute Bol actually went on the ice, and he played hockey. And he could not do it. He was terrible. He almost killed himself. The hardest part was trying to find a pair of skates that fit him. The guy had enough guts on. I give him credit for this. He actually did go and stand on the ice, but he went out there, turned around, came back, and sat in the bench the rest of the time. So we have an example of a great, great basketball player trying to play hockey. It's not about athletics. It's not about being a freak. It's not about being a guy that can run up and down the court. We have guys as big as LeBron in our game, 6'9", 260, 270. You got to be able to skate. You got to be able to move. You got to be able to go from one side of the ice to the other. You got to have foot movement. You got to be able to turn around from backward to forward at full speed. You got to be able to do all that, carry a puck, and be hit at the same time. LeBron is great at what he does. I agree. Stay in basketball where you're good, and you're going to be the richest player ever to play basketball. But stay away from the other sports, LeBron. You got a good thing going where you're at, man. Stay where you're at.
So what are you trying to say, Barry?
Stay where you're at.